Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the new T100 series by Titleist. Now I'm up here at Long Ashton Golf Club to do a little review for you today. Now it's not going to come from me direct. I'm actually up here with some ambassadors from Titleist. We've got Titleist themselves here. They'll be able to give us a bit more information on the actual products that are going to be launched soon on the market, but we've also got some amateur golfers to test them out as well. So let's head over to the range here at Long Ashton and see what is going on with Titleist.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Ben Fisher, Titleist Area Sales Manager for South Wales and the South West. We're here today at Long Ashton just talking about the new T-Series irons that we're launching in August of this year.
So Stewie Barrett,
hello.
Welcome to Long Ashton Golf Club. Up here today doing a Titleist fitting. Yep. I'm up here today to have a little look at what you're up to when it comes to the fitting and how the new products are going to work for you. Now you're a Titleist ambassador yourself, so you stock the product. How has Titleist been over the last couple of years with the launch of the T-Series for you?
Very good. Fits very well into golfers' games. I like the fact that you've got different heads, etc., for different abilities. So really enjoy fitting the product, and been invited up today to Long Ashton for the Titleist launch event for the new T100 models that have just been released, hopefully end of this month.
And you've brought up an amateur golfer from your club as well. So Titleist are really you know, they really want to focus on amateur golfers as well to get some feedback from them with the launch of the new product. So you brought Chris up with you.
Yes, I brought Chris, really good player. He's just got down to scratch this weekend, plays Titleist at the moment and just wants to see if there's anything out there that he can improve on from his current set. He's currently getting fitted today as well, so yeah, we'll see how he gets on.
The shafts in these though.
Yeah, Project X. So nice stable shaft.
Yeah, it just feels like the bad shot's like always been left.
Yeah. To just feel that stability in the shaft, just helping reduce that.
Basically, yeah. So
So I've got the AP2s from about 4 years ago. Had those in the bag a little while now. It's got fitted with Stu as well. Yeah. Getting on well with them, but obviously my friend, he's got the CBs, and I watched the Open over the weekend and saw the new Titleist stuff look very shiny, so thought might as well come up here and try those out as well, especially T100s.
You're an MB player though, Stewie, aren't you?
I am.
So what are we looking at today then?
I am going to try and test out the new product. I don't play a massive amount, so I want possibly something in the longer irons, a bit more forgiving.
Okay. How have the MBs been for you?
Good. Like the feel off the face is just, so I don't really want to try and lose that feel, but I want to try and introduce a bit of forgiveness. Especially in like 6, 5, 4 iron. If you're not just out the middle, I do tend to lose a bit of distance. So I wanted to see if slightly stronger loft is going to help.
We're billing T100 as the modern tour iron. It's really an evolution of the previous model, a T100, with some very subtle changes being made. It's the #1 played iron on tour, played by more tour players than any other iron out there globally on the world stage. With T100, loaded with tungsten, makes it very forgiving across the face. It's a forged body with 2 lumps of tungsten here, heel and toe. Minimal offset. So it will really appeal to that better player in terms of looks, but feel and precision are kind of the main focus for us within this product.
That was better.
197. Yeah. It started to taper down a little bit. That was 88 feet, coming down at 43 degrees.
But this not would say it carries 200 on the course. I wouldn't say it goes That would be my average sort of go-to yardage on the course. It was 200.
Let's have a look there, mate. So again, there's 6.5 yards front to back on those.
Apart from the first one was a bit poor.
Appreciate it, yeah, to be fair.
Last two are solid.
And actually, I'll keep it in for a sec, but
Yeah.
those, between those two, kind of low 130s, your new 7-iron, I suppose, at 121, which is coming out about 4 miles an hour quicker, so bear that in mind.
Yeah.
But even at, let's go from your club at 117, I'd expect a 6-iron then to be coming out ball speed wise at about 122, 5-iron about 127. So to be fair, pound for pound on those last couple, it's fine. It's a well fitted club. It's just that if we look at that one there at 128, you've just slightly misstruck. Then that has dropped off a little bit.
That's what I'm finding.
So
it's not spot on. It drops down quite a bit.
Okay, cool.
And then you've got the T100S as well, and what are the differences between those two products?
Yeah, so T100S really is the faster tour iron. We expect to see a little bit of usage of this product out on tour. It's everything that T100 is, but just engineered with 2 degrees stronger in loft. So the downside to just cranking to T100 by 2 degrees is really that you impact the offset of the club, so increase the offset, but also it has CG implications and also bounce implications, so you actually remove bounce off the sole. With a lot of staff ambassadors that have turned up today with prior generation T100 that was 2 degrees stronger in loft, and a few of them commented on the fact that it maybe didn't get through the turf quite as nicely as they would like. So we've seen a big shift into T100S from our staff players, just because of that benefit in the sole. In this muscle channel here at the back, we've taken out some weight that's been filled and replaced with a polymer that really allows us to reposition the weight lower in the head. So what you're going to see with T100S is more ball speed because of the loft change, but really not a huge amount of change in terms of the window it will fly through in comparison to T100s. We see a lot of golfers turn up with prior generation AP2 irons. Everyone's getting a little bit older, so could probably benefit from having a little bit more ball speed, but without losing out on all of the other factors like launch and peak heights, land angles and spin rates.
Right looking shot. Okay.
Right, how has Chris got on today with that fitting that you put him through?
Yeah, brilliant. Chris come in with a set of prior generation AP2 irons, and really his preference was looking at feel, really the feel of the club. And we went through the product, T100, T100S, T200 and T300, went over the numbers, and T100 gave him quicker ball speed and a real tight dispersion. And he loved the look of the head, how it interacted with the ball and the turf, and it gave him a real good landing angle.
So when Chris walked in here, he was looking more at the CB range, and the reason for that is because he put the AP2 in, being as he wasn't playing a great deal of golf at the time, but now he's playing a little bit more golf. He wanted something a little bit more playery. You kind of changed that a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. So he come in looking for something that a little bit more compact, a little bit more looking like that CB line. We went in the T100 product. He had a few hits, and one of the first things he said was it looked exactly like a CB iron, but with the technology, knowing that it's got that tungsten, that high density in there, and it gave him a little bit more forgiveness, and the softness and the feel that gave him, he absolutely loved.
And that's gone right the way through the bag, so you've put him in from wedge right the way up to up
to the 4-iron. So we checked into the 4-iron to make sure that ball speed was still increasing in the 5 mile per hour gaps, and it absolutely was. And then looking into the longer stuff, he went into a T200 3-iron, and it just gave him a bit of versatility over the hybrid that he's currently playing. So he was able to knock it down and knock it up depending on the shots and the course conditions he was playing at.
Right, you've had a proper workout, mate.
Yeah, sweating now.
How has it gone? How's your session gone with Titleist today?
Yeah, really good, really good. The new stuff looks great compared to what obviously was looking for with the AP2s, obviously being a little bit bigger, looking for something a little bit smaller, and yeah, the new stuff really did that. Tried the T100 and then the T100S.
Yeah.
Really like the T100s, kind of got a shaft I like in the iron, so that was pretty much a fairly straightforward swap for me, to be honest. And then the T100S was good. Just came out a little bit lower and just went a little bit further than I wanted to, especially for a 7-iron anyway.
So there's going to be a lot of players in your shoes that are probably in the old AP range, because normally what you see with Titleist a lot of the time is they see it probably changing every 4 years, a set of irons. So for someone like you that's coming from AP2, what's been the big difference in certainly looks and feel from the two irons that you've been testing today then?
Yeah, I mean both are a little bit smaller, so the top line's a little bit thinner. They very much look like the CBs from kind of last generation. Especially the T100, I mean it does kind of look almost like a muscle back down behind the ball, and especially the turf interaction, obviously with the AP2 has been a little bigger, you know, it digs into the ground sometimes, whereas this just kind of cuts through like a little butter knife really.
So from a feel point of view, that's softer?
Yeah, softer. I mean the T100S is a little bit firmer, but the T100 is they're both a lot softer than the AP2s. Personally, obviously both being forged clubs.
So happily moving into a set of the T100s?
Yeah,
then?
I think so. I'm going to have to look at the bank balance, but yeah, go for the T100s, I think. Treat myself.
That was better.
Ben, how's he got on then? Coming from MB into now the T100?
Yeah, you know what, Dan, it's really interesting because, as you know full well, the MBs and CBs are going to remain current for a moment. Stu has been fitted by myself in the past, so the spec was already good, familiar. Like, you've enjoyed those irons over the past couple of seasons, haven't you, Stu? So really at the start of the fit, I always say, like, what do you want from the next set of clubs, or what do you want them to do differently? And the kind of feedback I got from Stu was very much not playing quite as much golf now, maybe in those, you know, top end clubs from 6 to 4 iron. Producing a little bit more friendliness, for want of a better term, a bit more ball speed perhaps. So we started off and kind of made our way into the T100 lineup, and you know what, it's this #1 play tour iron on tour, and there's got to be something in that. Not much kind of compromise in terms of look and feel and profile, but just that little bit of extra juice on the ball speed on a couple of the longer irons, and ultimately just inspiring a bit more confidence. Yeah.
And from your point of view then, with the numbers, because that's what we're here to get, a lot of that, how was it looking? How was it comparing?
Yeah, I mean, with Stu, his current clubs, because they're nicely fitted, the numbers were pretty tidy, but we just cleaned them up a little bit. So the lateral kind of yardages were a bit better, certainly front to back as well. So I think the separation on Stu's 7 iron was about 4 yards front to back, and we got it down to about 2.5. Even fluctuations of spin were down to just a couple of 100 revs. Just generally, just if Stu does end up putting these in the bag, it's just going to be a slightly more reliable kind of baseline stock yardage, really. So,
because that's all you're doing with good players a lot of the time, and it's just a little bit of fine tuning, try and mop up maybe a few of the errant shots, as in from a ball speed point of view, making sure he's still somewhat getting to target. Is that kind of what you're looking at?
Yeah, of course. Like I said before, it's really just a head change. We've kept the same line galls, kept the same length. We're going to put the same grips on, so it's very much Stu's good shots currently are really good. It's just, as you say, those slight deviations, those slight errant shots are going to be a little bit tidier with a slightly friendlier head design.
So tell me, what's the kind of verdict for you then when it's coming to these new irons then? Are you someone that's going to stick with your MBs, or are you someone that's sort of like what you look? And
I'm going to change.
What, a complete change?
Yeah, from 2 iron all the way down to pitching wedge. It's going to be a complete change.
Okay.
Ben's fitted me here on TrackMan, so we've got some really good numbers. It's going to be the same shaft, same sort of setup, 1/2 inch longer, etc., 2 degrees upright. I did try the T100S, and obviously the T100, but going T100.
Okay, and what's the main reasons behind going with one over the other? Was there a big difference in numbers?
Not a massive difference, to be fair, pretty similar. I actually did hit the T100S slightly higher,
right?
But I did feel the loft is stronger, so 32 degrees in loft. For me, probably hitting out the rough. I've had a slightly stronger sets of clubs in the past, and I just didn't like the feeling of that ball jumping out the rough too much.
So more of a confidence
issue.
Issue.
Confidence thing. They both look similar, and then the looks compared to my current set, so the bladed style, but you put down the T100, looks pretty similar. Can't see the back of the club. quite thin on top as well. So yeah.
So it's quite an important thing from your point of view. And I think when we
100%.
talked earlier, you were saying how looks are important, and so finding an iron that is a more helpful iron, but is looking similar is
just
key.
Just breeds confidence. You say I'll go into a cavity sort of muscle back iron, you think, God, it's going to be bigger at the back, but actually it doesn't. It sits down to the ground very much like my current set, and I'm going to be going all the way same grips, etc. So it's not going to be a massive difference visually, but hopefully performance off those off-centered strikes is going to keep that yardage up, so actually get the yardage to the green instead of maybe dropping off a little bit short of the green compared to my current set.
And tell me then, what about looks and feel? And I'm talking more about from the old T100 to now this one. Are you seeing much of a difference there?
I've hit the old T100.
Yeah.
Now I've hit this one. I've hit the old one back at my club in the studio. This one feels a lot softer off the face.
Does it?
Yeah. So whether that's possibly hitting off turf or I'm hitting off mats with the other one, but that definitely does feel a lot softer off the club face.
And more towards what your blade would feel.
100%. Yeah. And that's part of the reason, again, looks and feels is why I'm going to be definitely going into the T100.
Okay. And then is it looks as well? I mean, how does that compare to the old T100?
Yeah, I feel this again looks, I don't know whether it's slightly different finish on the face
it is, yeah,
and the back of the club, but again it still looks a little bit smaller compared to the T100 that they've currently got, but obviously this one's new, coming out end of the month, and definitely completely different feel compared to the previous model.
Always good to get feedback from players of all abilities on golf clubs, but obviously with the T100 series and T100S series, this is lined in for the better player, for the low handicap golfer who wants some feedback and wants a nice slimline look down at the golf ball. Obviously feedback from Tour has been a big factor in the delivery of these irons with Titleist, but obviously the feedback that we're getting from Chris, the feedback we're getting from Stuart as well, with what he's gone from MB into those now T100 range, I think is good feedback for us to get a good review on the product for you guys. Let me know though, put your comments down below. I'd like to hear, will you be testing out the new T100 and T100S series from Titleist? Obviously a big thank you to Titleist also for putting this on today so we could get some feedback on the products, but I'd like to hear what you think. Put your comments down below, and as always, stay safe and we'll see you again very soon.